That's Yala's nightmare. Alright. Take 20. Try it again. Roll me Arcana.
I really wanted him to say take 21.
Actually, it's 21.
The chair, the sand doesn't even manage to start forming legs.
It forms a spike.
Again.
I will point out, Nim has gone back to patting the sand twice.
Again. Alright. What do you do?
I want to make a suitable chair with a backrest, but I'll get rid of the armrests.
How detailed is this chair?
Give me a second to find a suitable chair.
Oh.
The first chair I posted wasn't very complicated, so.
So this one has to be more complicated.
It was detailed.
That's very
complicated? No.
Oh
detailed.
man, please post like a gamer chair.
I said no armrest though.
You could get a gamer chair with no armrest.
A massage chair popped up.
Pickpocket Beepoo! I just saw that! He's so cute!
Check out this deviant slick. Pickpockets Bebo.
Bebo, no!
No! Don't pickpocket Bebo! He's so small! I love him. I will protect Bebo with my life.
Oh.
Honestly, it's more like Steel Bebo.
Bebo is the item being pickpocketed.
Alright, there you go. That chair.
Is that one solid chair?
I
Oh!
have no clue.
I think it's just upholstered. God, that just looks like a giant piece of chalk.
Chalk.
I couldn't tell you.
Chalk zone.
You pat the chair, and it comes up slowly but surely, forming a chair with a back and nothing else. Not even individual legs. Do you sit in the chair?
This is like a Blender tutorial.
Does it pass the pat test?
It appears to pass the pat test.
Then
Pat check.
Nim will sit in it.
I'm back. I have food. Yay, food. Nim sits in the chair, and she sinks ever so slightly into her sandy chair.
Fantastic.
Well, it's passable. It works.
The fucking chair, that's all you asked for.
Well, as
Didn't
she's
even
sitting
ask for
at,
anything
as
specific.
she's sitting in it, the base of the chair is kind of like slowly getting wider. It's holding its own, but it's kind of like liquidy because it's sand. It is a good start, and you broke down your necessity for detail and opulence. So I am happy. Just wish it didn't take 20 some odd attempts. And with that, Nim gains a skill! Wow!
Isn't the ability to make chairs?
Chairomancy.
You have proficiencies with carpenter supplies.
Good.
No edits. No edits for Shaylin.
Yeah, we're not talking about Shayla, we're talking about Nim.
Yeah, but I have to give it to Shaylin.
Who dat?
Would you like to read to the class what you got? Or are you going to hide secrets from them?
Oh, I just thought it'd pop up like last time, I guess it didn't. At level 2, a geomancer's connections to the earth become singular and permanent. As long as they are touching stone or earth, they may use the world itself as a spellcasting focus. I'm an earthbender.
Woo!
That's pretty poggin.
You're just gonna be the avatar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've established this.
I'm gonna be the worst.
And
hunter.
I'm Sokka.
Oh, does that mean you're gonna have a training arc for swords?
Oh my
What the
god!
fuck you think is going on?
If Samson's Sokka, does that make Kyala Suki?
No, because Kiala can use magic.
Yeah, but she uses more martial stuff than
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
she
you know,
doesn't
magic.
really use magic.
Yeah. She's also a lifelong warrior from a clan of female warriors.
A school of female warriors. I think the clan takes what it can get.
Yeah. Including children.
Oh.
Ah, sorry. Food in my mouth. Well, I would go into other magic stuff, but I think teaching you how to speak Terran would be easier at this point. So, that's what I'm going to do next. Congratulations, you're going to start learning a new language. Oh,
Where's Snowdrop?
Such a lucky girl. How am I supposed to know? What am I, its keeper?
A little bit.
He'll be back whenever he's back.
When is that?
You just hear Zanzibar. You see him raise his hand and just go. And the golem just looms over you. He'll be
Turn
back
him into a chair.
when he is back. Fair?
Not really, but whatever. Does your golem want a chair?
Zanzibar just pinches his nose as the golem just looks behind itself at Zanzibar, like, what should he do? It's like, at some point, I wish you'd just not be you.
Don't make it
Something like
dead.
that.
Man, half the time it's have a will, half the time it's stopping
Yeah,
you.
what do you want from me, mister? That's what I would
Everything.
say. won't let me want things, you won't let me not want things.
Want things, but just want the things that I also want?
What are you, Hyala?
You're okay to want things as long as they're the things I want you to want.
Man. At least Yala's never told Nim to stop being Nim.
Should
Yeah,
we?
to her face more than once.
Should we go see what Snowdrop is doing?
Yeah.
Woo!
I have potato in my mouth. Hold on.
Snowdrop. Intermission.
Potato mission.
Snowdrop intermission. So, Evangel, for the last 24 hours, has been in near shambles and chaos.
So,
Nobody knows what happened. Very few people are starting to understand what happened. There's no castle anymore. And
Good, it was an eyesore.
it's kind of a state of panic.
Now state of Panah.
Yeah.
Although
Definitely not.
it
I'm just
had-
imagining the castle's back, but Panah's sitting on the throne. But it's the same throne,
Long live the king.
and his like tiny little legs are just kicking up on the seat that's too big for him.
Long live the king.
It's a state of Panah.
Yeah.
Long live Panak. The country of Avrindal Panak. The throne
Country
of
of life.
Panak. The castle of Panak. The high capital of Panak. The port of Panak. Also a city of Panak. Don't tempt me, I'll do it.
Do it.
Man, I wish I had a tiny little Golemite token I could just throw on the map and then obliterate the screen with. But yeah, no. As things have started to settle down a little, our attention comes to a dusty room. It looks like a place no one has properly lived in for a very long time. In a small, one-room house that sits outside the walls of Evangel, in one of the poorer districts. A fairly simple two-person bed sits in the middle. By the windows,
Icky.
there's a small kitchenette. There are shelving units and dressers around. But like I mentioned, there's a decent layer of dust across the whole thing. In the center, on the bed, sits Sufren. Just staring out at nowhere in particular. Contemplating and pondering, hands laced together underneath his chin. Trying to put the pieces together. And he just takes a deep breath and sighs. I have no idea what is going on.
Rude.
I can't begin
Yeah.
to understand what's happened, what's going to happen, and what will be. But I really
Truly,
wish,
not been spoken.
with all my heart, that you were still alive. I
Man.
don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm a grand tactician, and I don't know what the way forward is, and I could just use your guidance. As he looks around the room, from shelf to shelf, coated in dust, are many, many, many small white vials placed next to each other as if they were the most important thing in the world. There are more small white vials in this room than there are any other individual item displayed on shelves, on shelving units. Just about everywhere he looks, there's a bottle. Old and covered in the dust of time.
And Snowdrop runs through and makes it even dustier.
Just like shakes off, leaves
Check
like
out
a
this
trail of
devious
sand.
lick.
I just need a sign. Anything. If you can hear me, just... I need to know if the things I do will protect the people of this nation that I have sworn my life to. Nothing else is as important. And then he hears a little bit of scratching. Like the sound of nails across the wood floor. Underneath the bed. And he doesn't really pay it any mind. Assuming it to be like a mouse or rat, some kind of vermin that probably got in.
Which it is.
Yeah, but cute.
Very.
Then he keeps hearing it. And then he hears it on the shelf. And he looks around, but he doesn't see anything. And he tries to think and focus. Just sitting there going back to his thoughts, trying not to be bothered by it. Then he hears one of the bottles tink and start to roll. He jumps up, reaches out from where he hears it, and catches the dusty vial. The look of anger drawing on his face. And he starts looking around for this pest, this vermin, that would dare interrupt the peaceful nature of this place, threatening to break things that hold so much value.
How dare you interrupt my pity party?
Yeah. My Shakespearean soliloquy is suffering.
Man, I'm going off of nothing here. Give me some
No,
credit.
you're fine. We're memeing. Continue.
We're memeing.
Oh, okay.
How things do.
We meme non-stop for 5 hours. We're allowed to do it during the Shakespearean moments too.
Yeah.
We meme during everyone else's moment.
That is true. But it was the Shakespeare part that felt like the insult.
Yeah, because Shakespeare's known for being terrible.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
Depends on who you ask.
me.
But good thing we're not. So anyway, your soliloquy.
Nobody asks you.
Sorry, food. Food, yum yum. Potatoes. Ugh! Where was I? Oh, yeah. So he follows the scurrying. And he can't seem to get close to it. Because whenever he seems to get close to it, the scurrying changes direction. So he just kind of sits and waits. He goes back over, still holding the bottle. Sits and waits on the bed and pretends like he's not paying attention to it. And he hears the scurrying going onto the dresser at the foot of the bed. And when he looks up and opens his eyes, he's expecting to see, a common vermin. And instead it's not. It's Snowdrop. Wow, what a surprise! Who would have guessed that, right?
Oh, I thought Snowdrop was a friend the whole time.
Yeah.
I thought he had bottled him and put him in the shelf.
So Sufren looks at this, Terran fox, and just blinks several times. I need less surprises in my life.
Even when we're not there, we're still causing him stress.
A little purple ribbon wrapped around it, or wrapped around Snowdrop's neck. And he just, holds out a hand, but Snowdrop backs away and still looking at him. Right. Okay. Not a common vermin. Clearly, it's a pet. An exotic pet. In the middle of the poor district. Outside the city walls. Oh. Hello, little friend. Where are you from? Surely you got lost? And maybe as he starts to get up and try and slowly approach Snowdrop, being like, alright, here, pet, here, for lack of a better stereotype, here, kitty, 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 kind of thing. But Snowdrop clearly won't let him touch the floofy baby.
Good boy.
Okay. You can't stay here, so... And Snowdrop starts scurrying off the dresser onto the floor. And Sufren tries to take his chance, and he tosses the vial onto the bed and leaps after Snowdrop, crashing into the floorboards. Shaking the shelves and everything, but Snowdrop darts along the side of the bed. Come on, don't go under there. Wait, no! And Snowdrop comes to right where the underside of the bed starts and just follows the line of the bed to the wall. And then stops and looks back at Sufren. Huh. And Sufren starts to follow Snowdrop around the room. As he does so, he notices Snowdrop won't go under the furniture. Just follows that wall line. Round dressers, around the bottom of a shelf, back across the floor. And this goes on for maybe about a solid 3, 4, 5 minutes. And it stops being a chase to being Sufren just walking around the room, Snowdrop constantly maintaining the same distance. And Sufren will do things like stop, wait a second, Snowdrop will go a little way, and then he'll stop and look back at Sufren. What are you doing? Snowdrop stares at him, takes his little paws, and starts cleaning off his face. Huh.
Sounds like just being an asshole.
Perfect for Nim's pet.
Right?
Yeah? Maybe he got trapped. Maybe it got trapped in me. And Sufren goes over to the door. And as he does, Snowdrop follows, still maintaining that same distance. To which Sufren notices. Opens up the door and opens it for Snowdrop to leave. And Snowdrop just stands there.
Oh yeah, because he's there.
Leaving the door open, Sufren walks across the room and sits on the bed. And Snowdrop stands there. I can't begin to understand where this is going. What do you want from me? He gets up and goes to approach, and Snowdrop moves closer to the door. And closer to the door. And closer to the door. Before Sufren, before anyone notices it, Snowdrop is outside the door, and Sufren's by the door. Well, good. Now that that's done, and he just closes the door on Snowdrop.
An ass.
Snowdrop's typing up the rest of the soliloquy.
It's the best thing I can do for scratching on wood.
No, it actually sounds really like on point. I'm just
Okay.
memeing.
And he opens up the door, and when he does, Snowdrop is the same distance away from him that he has maintained this entire time. As soon as
That was only my after image.
Okay. Bye-bye now. Have fun. Certainly, if you got out here, you can find your way back home.
I don't have thumbs. What do you want from me?
Closes-
Open the doors.
Closes the door again. He opens it. Snowdrop's back the same distance away. And he closes the door a third time, but this time more slowly. And he stands by the door and waits. No sound. He walks the same maintained distance away from the door as he would be to Snowdrop. How in all of the gods' names could... He opens it. Snowdrop's the same distance away. How? What do you want from me?
Your
Oh.
wallet.
Right. The stress that must be getting to me. You're a lost pet. I'm famous. There are statues, and just about everybody in Everengol knows my name. You must be lost, and you want me to take you back home. Right? Okay, that's much more simple. Fair enough. Sitting in this place is not doing me any favors anyway, and maybe the jaunt will give me time to think. Let's go, little one. But before he leaves, he stops short and walks back in, Snowdrop maintaining the same distance as always, and you can assume this distance will be maintained so I don't have to keep saying it. And he takes the vial that was on the bed and places it where it was on the furniture. And he'll close the door behind him as he walks outside, turn around and take out the old rusty key, secure the lock. Alright, here we go. Over the course of the next few hours, they'll walk through up to the gate of Everengol. They'll pass through the gate. People, military personnel, nodding at him, smiling. Nervous smiles, weak smiles. In a time of, well, turmoil and chaos, it's no surprise to him that people are trying their best to look like they're okay. Nobody knows really what happened or why, and, well, the only comfort they really have is the strength of the military. Even though their faith is shaken, even though what should have never happened, happened. But Sufren always noticing out of the corner of his eye, Snowdrop managing to stay just out of people's sightline. On the little piece of stone that runs atop an archway, down in the shadows by crates, the distance between him and Sufren never growing much any larger, never growing any shorter, perfectly just out of sight of every person they pass. It almost seems unreal to him that any creature could be so nimble, so maneuverable, so conscious of what it's doing. And for every minute, every hour that this lasts, there's a pit in his stomach of how it just doesn't seem right. Doesn't seem like it should be this way. Like there's something he's not thinking of. Once they get through the city, he assumes that his job will be done, but they walk straight through the residential district. Perhaps it's an exotic pet of some merchant, some barter agreement. Surely there'll be a shop he'll hit eventually. But they walk right past. Street after street, shop after shop. Little tiny hide after little tiny hide. They pass the outer wall to what still is, though somewhat less important, the grounds where the castle sat. Smoke still billowing off the high walls and embankments. He tries not to think about what it looks like on the other side of that wall. But they keep walking. And it starts to eat at him more that if his assumption was right, then the fox, this creature, this animal,
Baby.
yes, this baby, would be going more into the heart of the city. But it's hugging the wall. No more does this pit in his stomach begin to sit heavy and rot. When as his mind is traveling and wandering, does he realize he starts to hear the sound of birds. A sound that he always knows means that he's getting close to the marine district, getting close to the harbor. He starts to pay attention more and it starts to eat at him. How can this animal be going to the naval district? He makes very careful. He makes sure not to say anything or look out of place. He walks, he passes with ease. No one would question why he would be there. But he can't stop questioning why this animal's there. Surely if it was a pet of a soldier, something so exotic, he would have known about it eventually. It can't be new. And he's racking his brain, his attention is fading, he's thinking, where could it be from? It doesn't make any sense. He knows in northern Avondale there are no creatures that look like this. He's made it a point throughout his career to always be aware of what some of the most prevalent endemic life is. It's important after all. What you might encounter if you're walking on a safari, if you're on the oceans, what beasts you have to navigate around. And with the big endemic life comes the small endemic life, knowing what to stay away from, what preys on what. And he can't place this animal. It isn't until that he starts walking to the docks that it becomes almost too much to bear. The amber orange having walked across the entirety of Everngol, not really a challenge for a man as active as him, but as the hours have passed and he stands on these docks, it begins to bother him to the point where he can't ignore it. He almost feels like screaming, like shouting, begging the creature for the answer that he can't seem to find. But as he turns the corner down to the lower dock, he sees, looking for the word, for lack of the better term, a low-ranking soldier holding a board. Grand Tactician, I'm sorry, I was coming down here to do a check. He tries to find the words, but he can't. It's like his mouth is locking up. I'm sorry, sir. Did I, No, it's the day. Yeah. Are we... Permission to speak freely, sir. Permission granted. Are we gonna be okay? I'm sorry, that's not something I should ask, but I just don't know. It's understandable. We will. The soldier's eyes seem to brighten up a little. We will. So friend comes over and places a hand on his shoulder. Because we swore an oath. Whether you and me are okay. But at the end of the day, that's not entirely relevant. But we swore an oath to protect these people. And no matter what we do, no matter where we go, no matter what challenges we face, we know we stay strong. Because they need us more than all. And if we aren't confident, and if we don't believe that we will overcome, that we will persevere, then what are they to do?
Die.
You're right, sir. I'm sorry. It's not befitting me. I should be pushing these alone. No! What you're feeling, that concern, that keeps you a good soldier, good Marine. Do not push away your fears. Acknowledge them, but do not let them overcome you. It's what keeps you a person, not a drone. We are not constructs. We are not automata. We are soldiers, but we are people. I was actually coming down here myself to inventory what was here. I don't know when my next expedition will be, and I wanted a personal stock that was on this level. Aye. No, that's fine. Yes, sir. And he goes to hand the board over. I just don't know what to do next. That's where's my only orders. It's fine. Tell you what. Go to my office and wait for me. I'll find something else for you to do. There's much to do. But we will make it through this. We will weather the storm as we have weathered others. Thank you, sir. God bless you. As with you. The soldier walks up the ramp, leaving Suffren alone. Well, not entirely. He holds this board and he starts walking, hearing the ever so silent tapping, the little pitter patters in the shadows of the boxes. And then Snowdrop stops, closes the distance he's maintained this entire time, and stares at an empty, blank space of cobblestone seawall. Why are we here? It's a wall. Okay. Hello?
Is this a Harry Potter reference?
Little fox? Little creature? And Snowdrop just looks up at Suffren, and then a light illuminates on the wall. A sound of low humming, almost like a deep tear, as a portal opens up on the wall, and Suffren drops the clipboard. It hits the ground and bounces off, careens off the side of the docks and into the surf below. Through this small little hole, the size just big enough that if Snowdrop was to stand on the edge of it, his head would only barely miss the top of the hole by a few inches. Suffren looks through. A bright sun still shining. His breath and heartbeat begin to overtake his senses. He can feel the air in his lungs as if it is torturing him to breathe. His heart pounding in his ears as he sees a silhouette on the other side of the portal. Snowdrop leaps through the hole onto the other side, scurrying up the robes of this figure, and sitting on the figure's shoulder, turning back at Suffren. The figure's head begins to turn ever so slightly, and through the darkness of the robes, all Suffren sees is one fierce, glowing yellow eye. His blood runs icy cold, colder than he could ever hope to conjure. And the only words that manage to escape his lips are, "Why?" And as soon as the word leaves his mouth, the portal shuts, leaving him in the darkness of the evening sun. He stares at the wall for what feels like an eternity. His mind blanking. He has more pieces to his puzzle, and yet now he feels sick knowing them. He attempts to straighten up, trying to compose himself, because he knows he can't walk away from here composed. He doesn't know whether to break down, he doesn't know whether to scream, he doesn't know whether to jump or walk straight off the side of the dock. He doesn't even hear the footsteps coming up behind him. What snaps him out of his trance is the nervous sound, a voice he knows very well, almost a source of comfort for him. Rat tactician?
Oh God, no.
What? What was that? I don't know, Jared. The only thing I know for certain is that I haven't been told everything.
What do you mean?
That thing I told you. When nothing felt like it was adding up.
Yeah.
You're being lied to. So are we all. What? What are we going to... We aren't going to speak a word. We are going to keep our mouths shut. We aren't going to tell a single soul.
Sir, how could we possibly do that? And
We are. He places both hands on the young boy's shoulders. We are because I don't think we can trust our own anymore. Because none of this makes sense. Going backwards several hours,
Honestly, you could probably keep the time frame up.
Huh?
Yeah, we're not really doing all that much.
Well, name it.
No, that's how all I had written for that. That's all I had planned for that script. So I gotta move on to something else.
Nim gets a gun.
gets a
Very
gun.
funny. If I can't learn magic, you can't get a gun.
Also,
Nim also can't
That's not how that works.
It is.
No,
I
it
should
isn't.
know. I have this gun.
oh,
No, Nim can't shoot the gun. It's just there for threats because Nim has terrible dexterity and misses most of her shots.
keep this going because I need bathroom. Just for context,
I know.
needed the bathroom.
We'll work
for,
together
like,
on magic guns.
I needed the bathroom for like half that script.
I still want those funny bombs to stick on Yellow's arrows.
Oh, right. I have to get around to designing that.
Explodey ice arrow go burr. And make enemies go double burr.
So anyway, revisiting Zanzibar and Nim.
I don't know where he is. He'll show up when he shows up, okay?
But Daddy, that's what you said yesterday.
Snowdrop has gone off to live on a farm with all of
With all the other Fenix.
I'm not your cursed father. Go talk to
No,
your...
that was
I am not...
Daddy.
But Papa!
I am not Donald Hart!
You promised that Snowdrop would come back to us.
Mr. Trump!
You promised us a wall, Mr. Trump.
Mr. Hart, you promised us a wall!
It's so much funnier in a little girl voice. But Mr. Trump, I thought the Mexicans were going to be.
Mr. Trump, you promised us a wall.
I thought the Mauritians were going to be.
give me in poor taste if I make any joke.
Oh yes, because what we were saying, you joking about is most certainly not in poor taste.
Yeah, we are the
It's in
most
rich taste.
tasteful. Man.
Now, as
Daddy, he promised us a wall.
Now, as I was saying,
If only Varisha's boarded Glotnia.
you you will no, scrap that. As I was saying, in order to pronounce Terran, you and as he talks, you just notice a black figure next to him, and as you turn your head to look, it's Death, holding a really, really large egg. A monster
how's it going?
hunter-sized egg.
Are you about to make an omelet?
Owlbear egg! Owlbear egg!
I'm aware.
And he just looks over to where you're looking. I found one. As she just stands there beaming.
Well, it's about time. Quickly now. Child, do whatever you're doing. I've got to switch focus.
And he heaves the egg out of Death's arms.
How long?
I estimate about 7 days left.
So a week. Good to know.
And Zanzibar scurries off with Death up into the tower. The golem at this point kind of just sitting in the sands against the back of the tower. And does Nim follow, or what does Nim do?
Nim follows. Nim doesn't have an agenda.
Nim follows? Wow! You know, I was about to add a token for Death, but then I remembered I can't. I hate Roll20.
Huh.
Yeah, if only things worked, right? Y'all know what Death looks like. There was a Nim right here!
I
It's
couldn't
gone now.
see. I have a doppelganger, look!
Ah! It turned into yellow. Oh, it's a Zanzibar.
Nim's duplicating, stop it!
What did you teach her? She spit out more name.
Double the Nim.
Double the fun.
Double the
Triple
something.
the daddy issues.
Yay.
Double the daddy issues.
Zanzibar, you look a bit stretched.
What's with the long face?
But
I like the idea that his neck just stretches Nim out the window. What the fuck is going on?
Ask Lordo.
Okay, what the fuck is going on? But to Lordo.
Ask Shay.
No, I don't know what's going on.
Oh! So anyway, you follow Zanzibar into the tower, right?
Yeah.
Alright, where does Nim want to go?
Where Samson is.
Okay.
she
Yeah,
just
man.
drops on top of Samson.
Samson. Nim's like 12 feet in the air, gunning for a hug.
I have good news, guess what? You're
Anyway,
getting an egg.
so Zanzibar comes in first. Samson, you see the door open, and you just see Zanzibar standing there holding something big, but he clearly he opened the door with his foot, because he's standing on one leg and he's putting the other leg down.
Congratulations, you're a father.
Hello.
I'm sorry, what now?
Hello, Samson. As he
Oh,
comes
hi, Zanzibar.
scurrying across the floor with this giant egg. Nim and Death.
I imagine, like, Panox right next to him, and they're still fucking doing their katas.
Yeah, they're just doing their katos. Man, it really bothers me I can't have a death token. Maybe... No, I'm gonna get over it. But yeah, just imagine Death's... Nim comes in, then Death comes in, and just imagine Death is standing next to Zanzibar. Fair? Then I can have less agita about it.
Cool.
There you go.
What? No. Wait, I got a perfect idea. You gave me a great idea. Get rid of that.
I don't know how. Good job, me.
But turd death is so beautiful.
Turd Death is so
What the
beautiful.
picture looked like.
Yay! Death token! That doesn't...
Flowers.
So yeah, Death will go stand next to Samson. And she'll just approach
Hi,
it.
Death.
She just waves energetically. Panak! Get me all the stuff for the roosting box!
The what
Panak
now?
just stops doing the katas. We have an egg! Death says
Ow.
to Samson.
Well, I don't remember having anything for breakfast.
No, not for breakfast. An egg!
For me?
Mm.
Wait.
I was just told to go get an egg. Took a while. And you see Zanzibar setting the egg gently on the counter, while Panok's just running around the table grabbing things, a little blur of sand. Nim, be useful. Go grab me an Ignis plate.
What?
It's one of the hot things.
You went to an academy for magic. If you are about to tell me that you don't know what an Ignis plate is,
I just wasn't listening.
Of course you weren't! Clean the crud out of your ears and grab me an Ignis plate this instant!
You can say it without yelling.
I'll say it one word! Peel your skin off!
Ugh.
I'm not a banana. I almost called him a freak.
Do changelings have a second skin under their skin?
Do you have
No.
a second skin under your skin?
No, but I don't make my skin.
Technically, I don't either. I just reshape it, but semantics.
Oh.
Cause you're incredibly vain and you feel like you need to live in somebody else's body. Yada yada. Ignis plate
This is
now!
my body. No one looks like me, mister.
I'd say the same thing, but I remember you transformed into me.
Yeah, I can look like anybody
a
else,
girl.
but most people can't look like me, so. Here's your Ignis plate.
And you just grab it. He takes it from you. Not snatches, he actually takes it. It's like, thank you! If only you could be as responsive.
Was he talking to the egg?
No, he was talking to Nim.
Oh, he was.
The other egg.
As responsive to
As what?
As who?
What's the comparison?
Actually-
if only you who listen, if only you who didn't listen could be as responsive as you who did. Duh.
Well, I can't word sometimes, but the intention was if only you could just do what I ask all the time.
You're not my dad.
That's why he expects you to listen to him.
The difference is Nim listens to her dad.
Why?
Well,
Because
don't
it's
question
dumb.
it.
Oh yeah.
Point being, what's... I was just gonna tug on Samson's cloak. What were you doing with your sword?
Oh, I was practicing something.
What was it?
Oh, it was actually, I mean, it was this thing that apparently only people with magic can do, so I was learning it so I could help you learn it.
Kinetic amplification?
Yeah, that. Thanks, Death.
You're welcome.
I
Get
don't
me the
know how to
extra
use the
large.
sword.
Get me the extra large crystalline cloak. Third shelf on the left. Okay. And you just see Death turn around and walk out the door.
I don't know how to use a sword, but thank you.
Well, I figure when you run out of mojo, if anything happens, you'd at least have it as a backup, you know?
Do we see Kala coming down the stairs?
She's just taking a seat on the first step,
Oh, like
so I don't
Panda.
know.
Zanzibar is running around grabbing things, slowly constructing a box. You quickly see Death return with this big, like, glass cloche.
Do you think Kala's sleeping well?
I hope so.
Me too.
Here you go. Ah!
But yeah,
Thank
I don't know
you.
what governs you being able to do magic or whatever, but I figured if, you know, you ever ran low on it, it'd be a good backup.
Samson's facing away from Zanzibar, right?
Yes.
Nim, roll perception. Kyala, roll perception too.
Woo.
DC 10.
I totally have my character.
Damn, it's like the exact same thing if I rolled the perception.
I rolled some tens for you.
Thank you!
Thank
Okay.
you.
It's the sleep in your eyes. You just woke up.
So, Nim, you're listening to Samson. So you don't really hear, but Kyala, you see Eden here. Death come up with the cloche and it's like, here you go. Ah! Thank you. He takes it and he sets it gently over the egg and the apparatus he set up. And while he is playing with some, you know, little knobs and stuff, clearly making some kind of device to turn on, you just see the other hand come over Death's head and it just starts patting her on the head.
Aww.
And you just see her blue screen. Genuinely, she just stands there and just starts staring out into space. Why are
Did
you
you
looking
just
like
want to reset? Huh?
He hit
What?
the factory reset.
Why are you looking like that? She kind of just looks at him and she just hear her go, you haven't patted my head in, well, since Solaris was alive.
Oof.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Can't even pat your daughter's head.
Yeah, what a terrible dad.
Well, it's a good day. Things are changing. We'll finally be able to fix some mistakes. So I suppose it's a time for celebration.
I really want to say, does that mean we're all having omelets?
No, you Nimrod, and he's gonna like bonk her on the head shortly.
No, I said I really want to say,
Oh,
but Nim
then
knows
I
what it
don't
is.
bonk. Then I don't bonk Nim.
You just get the urge to bunk Nim, and you're just like, what were you thinking? Why did I have this urge?
Kyala, Nim, roll me another perception. Add advantage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yay!
cool.
Thanks,
Wow.
advantage.
Good job, Advantage.
So, you just, Nim, you see Zanzibar's shoulders relax for a second as he's sitting over, and you hear the Ignis stone come to life a little. And Kiala, you see the same thing. But as you look at Death, you see her looking at Zanzibar, and you notice ever so slightly that the bottoms of her eyes start to get glassy.
Aww.
You never incubated my owlbear egg.
Oh, God. But there's also a big smile on her face. You said 7 days, right? Yes, approximately. Fair enough. Panak! Watch this. If it starts shifting or moving, we'll find something really loud. Mix the niter with the sulfatar. Bleh! Mix the niter with the sulfonamide. And you just see Panak look really concerned. Look, I'd rather there be a small explosion in my table in my room than, lose this. It's not easy to get that. Pointing at the egg. Well, that's squared away. Which also reminds me. And he comes over to a jar with a spinning plate. As Death kind of walks back to rejoin you two. And Zanzibar stops the spinning plate with the silvery liquid inside it. And he opens up the top of the vial. Takes a small razor blade and slits... not razor blade, that would be too modern. A small razor. Slits his finger and just drops a bit of blood in there. Which grabs now even Samson's attention, because as the drop of blood hits the vial, the whole mixture starts to emit eerie, not terribly loud, but shriek-like sound. As you see the innards of the vial just writhe with reddish, blackish, striped ink. Samson, it's done!
Huh? What's done? Oh, is that the... Is that the, Mercurium sword?
Yes, the homunculus.
Cool.
He takes the vial off the, rack, puts a cork in it, and hands it to you. Congratulations! You own a homunculus. Do you examine the vial?
Yes.
Roll investigation. At advantage. You are holding it after all.
I almost rolled intimidation.
I glare at this one.
This is why.
Advantage?
This is why I gave him advantage.
Yeah.
So you look at it, and it just kind of looks like a silvery ampule. And so if you imagine it, the neck of the bottle is thick enough to be a sturdy handle, but the ampule at the bottom of it is kind of, how you say it? Almost lemon-shaped, if you could imagine. Like a fat oval.
Mm-hmm.
Am I describing a good picture? And as you look at the ampule, the liquid separates. And you see the crystal orb, except it's covered in that thick, slick, black ink that, Zanzibar has been known to emit. And it forms an eye